السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معكم أخوكم فهد من هيب هوب على السريع. هذا الشو برعاية فريج ميوزك، الصوت الغربي بالعربي، ومجلة الراب العربي، أكبر منصة هيب هوب عربي في الخليج العربي.
Marathon is about seeing long term, seeing a vision, understanding that nothing really worthwhile happens overnight, and just sticking to your script long enough to make something real happen. Laying a brick every day instead of trying to build a brick wall. Just lay a brick every day. Eventually you look up, you're gonna have a brick wall.
طبعا احنا اليوم بنتكلم عن واحد من عباقرة LA اللي هو نبسي هاسل. طبعا يوم وفاته انا كنت قاعد على الكمبيوتر وسمعت الكلام هذا من خلينا نقول خويتي، وانفجعت مرة لان كنت انا قاعد مع المصور، واثنين انا انفجعنا لان نبسي هاسل في ذيك اللحظة يوم توفى يعني كان تو بدأ على قولنا في البحرين يبقبق يعني تو بدأ يسوي ضجة. والكلام اللي تو قاله في البداية يعني هذه تعرف انه هو عبقري الولد. يقول لك اذا انت طبعا البريك اللي هو الحجر ولا الطابوق، يقول لك انت في يومك كل يوم حط لك طابوقة وراك. طابوقة معروفة عندنا احنا الستراجل، يعني حياة العذاب والله حياة. يقول لك حط الطابوق وراك، كل يوم حط طابوقة وراك، بتلتفت وتطالع وراك بتحصل لك a brick wall، بتحصل لك جدار من الطابوق. يعني انت خطيت شيء مرة عميق عليك. هاي الكلمة ما يعني هذا الكلام اللي قاله مرة عميق. much respect to نبسي هاسل. let's start the show. ان شاء الله بندقق في حياته اليوم. وشات اوت حق قناة diverse mentality، هي القناة اللي مسوية دوكيومنتري عليه. انا ايش صلحت basically، رحت القناة وقصصت وسرقت قصصت من القناة وترجمت وجبنا لكم الحلقة عشان تكون حلقة مفيدة وشوية تعرفون عن نبسي هاسل because I really respect this guy. أنا ما تعلمت عليه إلا في آخر أيامه، وهذا الشيء الحزين. و I'm still bumping نبسي هاسل. Respect, rest in peace. Let's start the show. طبعا ولد باسم إرمياس أسكودوم، واللي معروف لقبه نبسي هاسل. الولد هذا طبعا معروف انه هو اثيوبي، خلينا نقول ابوه اثيوبي بس امه امريكيه. بدايات نبسي هاسل كانت في 2014 يوم شقح على تراك مع دريك اسمه كيلر. طبعا هذا التراك اللي حط نبسي هاسل على الساحه، لان دريك كان كان يسوي باز كبير حق نفسه، واي واحد يسوي مشاركه مع دريك يستوي شويه على خفيف معروف، يعني فهم عليه.
Before rap, my last name was my lifestyle, and when I visualize success, it look like right now. What was once gray skies is now white clouds, and I did it with the ones y'all said was not the right crowd.
طبعا بعد هذه الحركة اللي سواها نبسي هاسل بدأ الباز حقه شوية يكبر على خفيف. طبعا انت لازم تعرف اذا انت كنت يعني انسان خلينا نقول رابر مغني والله اي حاجة تبتدي صغير، تسوي لك باز خفيف في السيتي حقتك وشوية تبتدي تكبر. بعد الحركة هذه مثل ما قلت لكم هو تعاقد مع كمليونير ونزلوا تراك اسمه When You On. هذا التراك اعتقد خلى نبسي هاسل يكبر شوي. ولد نبسي هاسل في عام 1985 شهر 8 تاريخ 15 في مقاطعة سلاسن كاليفورنيا. طبعا حتى لو أمه وأبوه ما كانوا مع بعض، بس أبوه كان كله موجود في حياته، وكان يعيش تقريبا 10 دقائق من البيت اللي أمه كانت ساكنة فيه. ومثل كل الأطفال في عمر 8 سنوات، الولد كان يحب يكتب رايمات، يكتب رابس، يكتب يعني أغاني كذا. وكان في مخه إنه إيش حيصير، إنه هو حيكون مثل كريس كروس. والله كان حبه لكريس كروس خلاه يعتقد إنه في ناس بتجيله بتخلي يوقع عقد معاهم مثل شركة ما شركة وكذا. بس يوم ما صار الكلام هذا وقف، والله خلينا نقول بطل يكتب لأنه صار إحباط. بس حب الأغاني كان كله موجود داخله. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I thought I was gonna be like Criss Cross, bro. Really, I thought I was gonna be like a young artist signed when I was a little kid. I guess when I was probably 8, 9, my goal was that by the time I'm 12, 13, I'll be signed and cracking as a little kid artist. And when I wasn't, I was like, fuck rap.
ويوم كان في الطفولة لاحظ شيء ثاني، إن سامان الاستوديو مرة كان مكلف، وهذا الشيء طبعا سوى الإحباط. بس نبسي هاسل كان مصر إنه يستوي شيء. والله مغني.
Put it together like, how do you rap? Oh, you gotta get a studio. You got how much is studio equipment? Damn, this shit is expensive. Like, I used to go to my homie Jermaine's house across the street, and we'd build a studio in the backyard with no equipment. We'd just be clearing the dirt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sweeping the backyard up, like, we're gonna build it right here. And then, all right, it should be like 8 feet this way. You know what I'm saying? But just like realizing, damn, we don't have the capacity to do this. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to get money to do this. We can't just wing it off a dream.
طبعا shout out to Black Sam اللي هو أخو نبسي هاسل. علمه انه كيف يستوي هاسلر، والله كيف يكون برا ويسوي فلوس من الشارع. اثيوبي الولد، اثيوبي. شوفه اثيوبي.
My brother was always a hustler, you know what I mean? So I, as a little brother, you gonna do what your big brother do. And then also just being in a situation where we needed to kind of like compensate, you know what I mean? And make up for, like, you know what I mean? Things that we felt we should have that we didn't.
طبعا في صف السادس بدأ نبسي هاسل يلمع أحذية عشان يسوي له شوية مصاري يعيش منها، وهذا الشيء اللي خلاه انه يستوي هاسلر من نفسه. فهم علي؟
Did shine shoes at Chamber Shoe Shine, coincidentally on Slauson. So I just went through every business in the neighborhood like I need a job.
Yeah.
And they was like, you too young, you know, you don't have a work permit, you too young. And the only one that gave me a job was a guy by the name of Paul Chambers.
Oh, okay.
And another young dude named Stephen Chambers. And it was a shoe shine party. I used to get $2.50 for every shoe I shine.
Yeah.
And my quota was $100 a day, so you can imagine how much
good money for that age.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I bought my whole 6th and 7th grade wardrobe off of that, man, and just learned about saving money and stacking and flipping like early on. So shout out to Chambers.
طبعا شراوت حق أخو نبسي هاسل كان مرة هو قدوة له. حاول نبسي هاسل إنه يبيع أي شيء، من حلاوة، يقص حشيش، طبعا زراعة قصدي، يبيع أي شيء إنه يكون يدخل له فلوس حق نفسه وما يعتمد على أهله، لأن هذا الشيء خلاه مرة زي يعني كأنك أنت تكون إنسان مثلا dependent. فاهم علي؟ very independent and you don't need your family. والله ما تحتاج أهلك عشان تصرف على نفسك.
Definitely sold candy, shine shoes, cut grass, water lawns, man, everything. We used to want to go swimming at the pool. It cost $1 to go swimming, and I used to be a mission to get $1, like to put it together. You know what I mean? And we had asked the lady to help her take her groceries in, give us a quarter or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Or whatever we could do. But yeah, that was
نبسي هاسل في هذه اللحظة طبعا كان يحب الأغاني مرة وما نساها، والوحيد من أصحابه في الهود كان عنده كمبيوتر، والكمبيوتر هذا طبعا بدأوا يسووا منه أغاني، وأول أغنية بدأ يسوي راب فوقها اللي هي واحدة من أغاني سنوب دوغ اللي في الألبوم الدوغ فاذر. طبعا هذا الشيء خلى يعني رجع نبسي هاسل إلى الراب. فهم علي؟
Jermaine Jenkins used to live on 60th Street across the street from me. His mom, Miss Juliana Jenkins, used to take us to school every morning. We was young, like elementary. Yeah, you know, he had
a computer in his house. Back then, that was a big shit to have a computer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, we found out how to record over instrumentals.
Do you remember like
something like this, like plugged into the computer, and we used to just rap over old Snoop Dogg instrumentals? My first one was the Dogfather introduction.
Oh, okay.
The intro off the Dogfather album. But nah, that was the first record we the first time I heard myself on a beat was on the Dogfather.
خل في بالك ان نبسي هاسل كان واحد من المرة المثقفين، يعني يحب يبني كمبيوترات ويوم كان هو صغير، وهذا هو اللي سواه عشان يحاول يبني الأول استوديو له. هو شيء غريب مرة انه كان يجمع البورتات حق الكمبيوترات، يعني مقاطع صغيرة من الكمبيوترات ويجمعها كذا مع بعض ويركبها ويسويها كمبيوتر كامل.
Nip built our first computer. My grandfather really bought our first computer. We ended up breaking it, throwing it away. And then as we got older, when we wanted a computer, Nip would come home from school with a backpack full of computer parts. And we shared a room. And we shared bunk beds. You know, I was a little older, OCD. I used to, hey, we cleaning up today. He would get pissed off. Like, you ain't going nowhere. You helping me clean the room. And he brought these computer parts. I'm like, man, we can't keep these in this room. He like, nah, I'm gonna build a computer. I'm like, man, if you don't get out of here, man. He's like 12 years old. I'm like, man, a computer back then to me was like rocket scientist. So I'm like, there's no way. Get this shit out of here. He came back the next day with another piece of a computer. Came back, took him about a week, maybe 2 weeks, and we just had all computer parts, loose parts on the floor. And he went to a computer auction and bought a case and bought a power supply. And I came home one day, he had the magazine that my grandfather had bought, computer magazines, and he had the computer and it was working, and he turned it on, and I could not believe this.
ويوم كان عمره 12 سنة طبعا أمه حطته في برنامج نفس البرنامج اللي يعلمونك كيف تسوي أغاني وتلحن وكذا. طبعا هاي البرنامج كان في مدينة ثانية، بس نبسي هاسل كان مصر انه يتعلم، وكان كل سبت والله كل ويكند يقوم الصباح وياخذ الباص والسيكل ويروح الى هذا البرنامج.
My mom, just knowing I had a passion, she found this community center at the Watts Towers and was like, they offer a class once a week. It's like electronic music. I used to catch the bus to the train and go to the Watts Towers on Saturday and just learn. It was like a classical composer.
Yeah.
He taught us how to use an MPC, which is the beat machine.
Yeah.
A 16-track recorder. That was my first exposure to production.
طبعا بداية نبسي هاسل كان هو برودوسر يصلح أغاني. يعني الشكر حق البرنامج اللي أمه حطته فيه علمه كثير عن كيف هندسة الصوت وكيف إنه يسوي ألحان ويسوي أغاني.
That's a real fact. I used to make beats primarily. Like I used to make beats for Cuzzy. I don't know if anybody.
Cuzzy?
Yeah, Cuzzy Capone. He another artist from LA, from our area. That's crazy. But we grew up in the same studio together and all that. And I used to be the producer and worked on his album as a producer, like with an MPC.
وفي يوم كان عمره هو 13 سنة نبسي هاسل حاول انه يكمل مدرسة، بس المشكلة انه ايش، حبه وشغفه حق الموسيقى كان مرة مخرب عليه، وسمان الموسيقى مرة كان غالي. نبسي هاسل حاول انه يجمع الفلوس هذه، بس تعلم انه شنو، انك انت لازم تجيب الفلوس من الشارع. ايش اللي حصل، دخل مع عصابة الرولينج 60s واللي هي اكبر عصابة في المنطقة اللي هو كان عايش فيها. طبعا هم كريبس، هاي يسمونهم فرع رولينج 60. وطبعا بدأ يشوف الفلوس تدخل عليه بطريقة ثانية، خاصة انت تدخل جانج وتبتدي تبتدي تكون على قولتهم اكتف، انك تكون في الشارع تبيع تودي تجيب، تروح تسوي some missions and you come back. فهم علي and you're not harmed basically. يعني تروح تخلص لك ميشن ما ميشن وترجع ما عليك شامخ كذا. you go up in ranks. فهم علي، يعني ترتقي في المرتبة حقت الرولينج 60. طبعا هذا الشيء مرة خرب عليه بينه وبين أهله. بس اللي حصل إيش، كان في تحدي صغير بينه وبين المدرس حقه، والمدرس لاحظ أن نبسي هاسل كان عمدا يسقط في المناهج. يعني لاحظه وتحدى وقال له اسمع، خلص أنت ولا بتشوف وجهي مرة ثانية. وهذا اللي سواه،
did go to high school for 9th and 10th grade, and I was very capable, you know what I mean, but I wasn't focused on academics. I remember, you know, I had F's and D's every semester except 1 year, and one of my English teachers was like, bro, you smart, like, you know what I'm saying, what you doing? And I just did all my homework and focused for one semester and got like 5 A's, 2 B's, just because I peeped game, and he was interested in my well-being, and he was sincere. So I was like, I'm gonna meet you halfway, and I did real well, and I stopped going.
طبعا بعد هذه الحركة نبسي هاصل أثبت حق المدرس إنه هو يقدر يطوف مناهج، بس المشكلة أن نبسي هاصل الحين شغفه استوى شيء ثاني، بدأ يتعرف على الشوارع، بدأ مع الرولين 60s، مصاريت تستوي أكثر من الحركة هذه. أمه طردته من البيت، ويوم أمه شافته يجيب مسدسات أسلحة كثيرة البيت يجيبها، ويجيب حشيش كثير البيت، لأنه خبرك هذا شغلته الحين خلاص يبيع ويسوي الحركات. طردته أمه إلى جدته.
9th grade, 15, I stopped going to school and all that. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I was on some other shit, thinking I'm grown, starting to get a little money and shit, grinding and all that, selling my little weed. Mom's like, you know what I'm saying? She knew what time it was. So if I bring a gun in the house, she understand that. You know what I'm saying? But she wasn't with that, smoking weed, hanging out all day. She not with that. Cause that's, you know what I'm saying? She don't respect that. So when I was at my mama's shit, a lot of shit I could do when I left, I couldn't do over there. You know what I'm saying? So when I left, I went to live with my granny down the street on Fifth Ave. Mama house is in the hood, but my granny house is in the hood. You feel what I'm saying? So I moved over there. I was around the homies all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? I was still getting my little money and shit. I fell under the gang of the older homies and all that. And I started banging the hood. I put on the turf and started pressing the hood. And like, you already know everything come with that, my nigga. If you from LA, everybody already know. If you ain't, everything that's in the streets, once you start gangbanging, you gonna be involved with selling dope, selling weed, whatever the case may be. If it's out there, you gonna be involved in it. So once a nigga really like jumped the throne and started pressing the 6-0 shit, it was like everything that the streets had to offer. You know what I'm saying? I signed up for. Just niggas I was around was going to do them, you know what I mean? Do they stuff. I always kind of like, am I ready to go sit down for 1 year?
بعد ما انطرد من البيت وتعمق في الشارع، لقبوه باسم ثاندر كات.
Because he really hood. You know, some of these rappers, they ain't, you know, they talk that shit, what they do and what they got, and it's a bunch, it's not true. Nipsey is the truth, man. The truth. I call him Thundercat. Because he a little motherfucker with a lot of stink.
وطبعا بعد هذه الحركة مثل ما قلت لك تعمق في الشارع الولد، وبدأ مرة يدخل في حركات الجانج. بس خلفي بالك انه هو ما كان بانجن. في فرق بين انك تكون في الشارع selling weed، تبيع حشيش وحشيش مخدرات، كوك ما كوك، يعني خبرك المخدرات، بس انت ما تسوي بانجن. البانجن هذا شيء ثاني، انك تروح تقتل ولا تروح تخلص على ناس، طبعا ترتفع كذا اسرع واسرع. واخوه اصلا اخوه الكبير كان في الشارع اوريدي، سو هو كان اخوه مثل القدوة له اللي هو بلاك سام. مرة بلاك سام ياب $500,000 قام خزنها كلها تحت الارض عشان يجمعها، صح؟ طبعا حطها في كيس ما كيس، بس $100,000 منها تيبست واستوت تقريبا زي الحجر.
Put it in like an airtight, fireproof safe, wrapped it in plastic. You thinking it's gonna survive?
Right.
He left it down there for like a year probably, and then when he dug it up, you know, I guess the moisture of the earth.
Really, it got in there?
Yeah, and it molded the money.
Oh
you know
my God!
So like 100 bands out of that 250 was molded. Destroyed. Yeah, and you know, that's a hard loss when you're young. He was a teenager. My mom was in there. We had the blow dryer out, all the money on the living room table, trying to dry the money.
طبعا شغف نبسي يصل حق الموسيقى ما وقف عقب الحركة هذه. جمعوا 2 من أصحابه، واحد اسمه ريمبا والثاني اسمه جي ستون، وسووا أول فرقة لهم اللي اسمها كونسبت. وكانت الفرقة هذه تتكلم عن كونشس راب. كونشس راب انك تتكلم عن اشياء مفيدة حق المجتمع، وبالتعاون مع واحد من الاثنين جابوا واحد ثالث اللي هو كيد إنك. كيد إنك طبعا عقب ما دخل معاهم سموا الفرقة حقتهم Stranded Minds.
Nipsey when I was like 15, Hamilton High School, 9th grade, and
He used to sell CDs in school. It was me, Ermias, Nipsey, my bro Evan, who was going by Ren Paul, my bro Oliver, who was Ed Wright at the time, my bro Greg, I don't remember what name Greg had at the time, and we was going to Watts, catching like 2 buses in the train, go to Watts, and learning how to use just all this music equipment from this old head guy who just had like this program set up where he bought all these MPCs and keyboards and turntables and just different stuff and was letting us use it like for an hour. So we'd literally go up there for an hour, use the stuff, and take a bunch of trains back home. All that stuff we learned from there and all the equipment we ended up just buying and taking it to my boy house, Evan, you know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, just where we all hung out. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't live over there. I lived more mid-city area and in between, or Los Angeles, whatever, or West LA area. But, you know, I was there. Those were all my homies, so I was just always going back and forth.
Nip's original rap name is Concept. We used to be in a group called with my boy Oliver, Ed Wright. It was Ed Wright, and it was Kid Ink was part of it, I think, and my boy Greg. We was in a group, and it was called Stranded Minds. And we used to perform at the Malcolm X Festival in Lamert Park. Nip used to be on some real conscious. We used to all be on that. You know what I'm saying? We used to all be on that. We used to all study that shit.
خلنا نقدم شوي إلى عمر 19 سنة. كان نبسي هاصل مرة يعني فلوس خلاص. بدأ الولد يبيع في الشارع وكذا ويسوي مصاري وعنده سيارات، وسيارة من السيارات اللي عنده كانت اللينكن البينس. هذه اللينكن طبعا مرة مرغوب فيه لأن الناس في LA يحبون يسوون هذه السيارة اللو رايدر. وباع السيارة هذه على واحد من أصحابه وقال حق أخوه الكلام هذا، وأخوه حاول يحط النص بالنص وشروا استوديو equipment.
Used to have a Lincoln. When I was 19, I had a white Lincoln on Alpinas, you know what I'm saying? And that was like a famous LA car. You know, that white Lincoln on Alpinas. I was, you know, through LA and you knew that car. So everybody would try to buy it. All the niggas I was having work and having weed was trying to buy that car. And I was the only nigga with Alpinas in LA. And my homeboy Hump had the Alpinas on his Monte Carlo. Everybody used to try to buy that car from me. And I was getting girls, I was turned up. So I'm like, I ain't selling this car. This is my look right now. I'm winning in this car.
That mobile.
Yeah. And you know, I had just reached a level in my grind where I'm like, I was sitting in that parking lot leaning on my Lincoln. And I'm like, yeah, man, you know, I had reached my little adolescent dream that I had for myself, you know? Like, damn, I'm right here. You know, I'm at that level that I was trying to get at as far as just being a teenager. How I saw myself, I was there. And I'm like, you know, I could either go to my next level with this, and that was to like fully pursue what I had my hands in at that time. Or I'm like, or I could fuck with what I've been having an itch to do, which was the music. And I called D-Mac. D-Mac was been trying to buy the car from me. He like, man, I'm like, you still want this car, bro? He like, yup. He pulled up right here in a lowrider with a Rouse bag with racks in it and gave me the cash. I gave him the key. And then I went to, I hit my brother like, I'm about to go buy some equipment. And he like, how much you got? And I told him what I got. He like, all right, I'm gonna match you. I'm gonna meet you up there. So, you know, the amount I had, he put that with me and we just bought all the equipment. And I was rapping since then.
طبعا بعد هذا الشيء نبسي هاصل كان يدخل فلوس واخوه طبعا يدخل فلوس، بس الفلوس اللي دخلها اخوه كان شوية لا قانونية لانه كان يبيع ديفيديات، والدي في دي اللي بيعه كان يعني خلينا نقول illegal، يعني منسروق وشيء ويبيعونه. واول سي دي نزله نبسي هاصل كان لسلاسن بوي.
That was my sales pitch. I'll be on Crenshaw and Slauson in front of the Master Burger. I just thought it was so many people that was, oh, check my CD out, buy my music.
Yeah.
I wanted to distinguish myself. So I'm like, if it's whack, throw it out the window. I'm gonna sit right here. And a lot of times they'll be like, just cause I said that, like, man, let me check that out, huh?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was my sales pitch, you know?
Nipsey's buzz slowly started growing once again, and Big U finally got released from prison. And when he got released, he said he wanted to get into the music industry and that he was looking for artists. Tiny Draws ended up telling Big U about Nipsey Hussle. Big U heard the music, liked it, and ended up becoming Nipsey Hussle's manager. Big U also knew Steve Lobel, and Steve Lobel actually had his foot in the music industry. Steve was looking for the next big artist as well, just like Big U. Big U ended up sending him the Slauson Boys mixtape, and he loved the project. He immediately said, let's get in contact with Nipsey, let's make a deal happen. Steve Lobel ended up becoming Nipsey's manager as well. Nipsey's first mainstream break actually came in 2006 thanks to Big U and Steve Lobel. Nipsey ended up getting featured on Tupac's posthumous album, Pac's Life. He ended up on track number 7 called International.
Him and Big Draws put that together, and LT Hutton. And that was basically, I think LT was like the main producer on the album, and he put.
Who did the Pac movie too, right?
Yeah, exactly. He got a good relationship with their family, and so basically, he just was like, I know Nip grinding. I didn't really have a resume at that time to justify it, but he gave me a shot, and a lot of that was based on the relationship he had with Draws and Steve. But then a lot of that also, he was just, seeing us grinding and was just being a real nigga and giving me a shot.
بعد الكلام هذا نبسي هاسل دخل في موقف مرة محرج وبايخ. طبعا في 2006 نوفمبر 17 نبسي هاسل تلاقى مع الشرطة على خفيف. الشرطة دخلوا على بيت بلاك سام، الاستوديو كان في بيت بلاك سام، واخذوا السامان كل اللي هم حاطوا الفلوس فيه. وهذا يعني شيء مرة كنا وقفه على خفيف، بس نبسي هاسل اوريدي سجل اغاني كثيرة قبل ان الشرطة ياخذون السامان كله ويدخلون اخوه السجن اول شيء، وبعدين لبسوه تهمة انه هو عنده سلاح وما عنده ترخيص له. بس هذا الشيء طبعا ما وقف نبسي هاسل من انه يلاحق الموسيقى.
The police raided the studio and took all the equipment and put a gun on me that was in the house, a shotgun. It was a registered shotgun, but I was on probation for a gun. So, the probation says you can't be around no guns at all. So they booked me for the gun, took all my equipment, and I was really just in the house working. You know what I mean? Just like, they don't know that. Nobody know how pure you are but you. And I was really pure at that time. I wasn't doing nothing but music. And I'm like, damn, like I was confused. Like, where does the good karma pay off at? You know what I mean? Where does this shit come back around at? Cause I was real committed. My money got short. That ain't stopped me. Like I said, how I was being viewed changed. People kind of like act like I fell off a little bit, and I still stayed committed. And then on top of all that, I got raided, and they took all my equipment, and they put a new case on me. I was just confused about it, and I remember like questioning everything. Like, damn, I don't really have no part of the game that brace me for that. I don't have no mantras that I remember hearing or nothing I grew up around. I ain't had no answer for that one, but it kind of discouraged me for a long time, but I had accumulated so much music. But from when I got raided, I stopped really recording every day and got back into hustling full time, because I'm like, I gotta fight a case now, and I need a lawyer, and I can't even really afford to sit in the studio like that.
والاغاني اللي صلحها نبسي هاسل قبل لا اخوي يدخل السجن، هذه هي الاغاني اللي سوت له عقد من الشركات. طبعا كان المانجر حقه هو بيج يو وستيفن لبيل. مرة من المرات The Game كان داخل الهود حق نبسي هاسل بالغلط كذا، وقام نبسي هاسل عطاه السي دي، قال له اسمع هذا، والرقم بيكون ورا السي دي، اتصل عليه.
The day I met Nip? I had a white Range Rover. I'm 28. At this time, like, I'm Doctor's Advocate is out. I'm 2 albums in. I'm not going nowhere. I want to get off the freeway, see some bitches, smoke some weed, maybe find a problem. I got a Glock on my lap, maybe. If niggas is tripping, I want my whole LA hip hop rapper nigga experience. So I would get off on Crenshaw, take Crenshaw all the way down to Wilshire, make a fucking left on Wilshire, make a right on La Cienega, make a right on Melrose, just to go get my car wash at the car wash, back where I sold my CDs, to get at even more bitches and show off this Range Rover. So this day, it was my point to not get stopped at any red lights and Crip hoods while I was rolling at all. So it was like a Honda Civic and a fucking gray like Harley truck in front of me, and these niggas did not go through this yellow, bro. They stopped. Like, motherfuckers just keep on going. So I'm like, why does this nigga stop? I couldn't go around because there was a car coming up from the back. So I'm stuck at this light. Who on the corner? 1560s Crips. I don't fuck with these scenarios. This is what I did not want to happen. And this, you want to ride through LA and you want to just coast through smooth with no motherfucking problems. 15 young ass Crips on the corner, and these niggas are crossing the street. For what reason, God, I don't even fucking know. But they're coming straight at my car. Niggas went from crossing the crosswalk. This is my car. Niggas went from crossing the crosswalk that goes this way. Nigga, I'm right here behind 2 other cars. Them niggas turned. And then when they turned, they started getting close. And right when Nip got right where you are, the nigga whipped out a CD. I was like, oh my. He was like, hey, cuz, my name Nip. And we the Slauson Boys. Almost like if I met Run DMC. Them niggas, you could really see in these 3, it was Rempar, Jay Stone, and Nipsey. And you could see in them niggas' eyes that they really thought they was the shit. You could see the confidence in Nip. I took the CD, and then he was like, nigga, you a real one, cuz. I put the CD in my car, and then I called him. I was like, yo, Nip, you got a number on here? He was like, it's on the back, cuz. Confidence, though. Not like, you know.
Right, not being
like, no, the nigga just turned around. He didn't even come back to the car. The nigga turned around. He's like, it's on the back, cuz. I was like, it is on the back, cuz. So I took the CD, I put it in, and I'm like, man, this nigga sound like a fucking lyrical like Snoop. I took the CD, and later on that night, I called the number. I'm like, you know, come to the studio. Wack brought him to the studio with Big U and Steve Lobel.
طبعا بعد هذه الحركة خلاص عرفنا نبسي هاسل استوى اسم معروف وبدأ الناس يعرفونه لأن the game كان already مع Eminem مع خبرك 50 سنت والحركات هذه وشوية شوية نبسي هاسل بدأ يكبر. طبعا هذا الساوند تراك حق I Tried نبسي هاسل غنى عليه واستوى مشهور من هذه الحركة. طولنا عليكم شوية الحلقة طبعا بس المفروض تنزل بداية الشهر بس الحين عرفنا شوي عن نبسي هاسل. ما بغيت أطولها أكثر لأن هي تقريبا الحلقة 2 ساعتين بس قصصتها شوي قصصتها خلتها 30 دقيقة. إن شاء الله عجبتكم حلقة اليوم وسامحوني يا جماعة طبعا الألبوم مسوي مرة ضجة عندي هنا أنا وأنا قاعد ألاحق you know what I'm saying. Rest in peace to one of the finest this planet ever seen. Rest in peace Nipsey.